Hello, my name is Jan Potsman, and I'd like to welcome you in today to Internship Week. On today's session, it's Ask Us Anything About Internships. I've been working with internships for over 20 years. I'm an assistant director at the Career Center, CSUN Career Center, and we're happy to answer your questions today. I also would like to introduce my colleague, Jessica Lauren Puzon. And Jessica, would you like to say a little bit about yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is Jessica Puzon. I am an experiential learning assistant at the Career Center. And basically what that means is I work with internships 24/7, and I've been working with Jan for almost 2 years now. So if you have any questions about internships, how to get internships, where to apply, please feel free to enter your questions in the chat, and me and Jan will be very happy to answer and to help you guys out.
Yeah, so as I believe you read in the chat, we are asking you to turn off your camera as well as mute your microphones, but place your questions in the chat. That's for your protection. So Ivania, do we have any questions in the chat?
Okay, so far we are waiting on our questions.
Okay, so
Okay,
I will start.
Sorry, Jen.
Oh, here we go.
Yes, so how do I get an internship with zero experience? I am a CE/CS major.
Okay, as a computer engineering and computer science major, what level, it would be important to know what your class level is. Can you tell us that? Are you a freshman, sophomore? Okay, sophomore. It's a little early on. Normally, I would say start as soon as possible, but in computer engineering and computer science, it's a little bit early on, but you're taking classes where you're doing class projects. So on your resume, you can put that information. So treat it as if it were a job, the class project that you have, and write about it, give it a title, and then write maybe 3 to 5 bullet points about what you were doing, maybe what the outcome was of your project, and that will help you put information on the page. In addition to that, if you're part of any clubs or organizations, I would list that information. If you're a member, put member. If you are hold an office, you can put that information on. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Jessica?
Yes, so another tip that I have is networking. So try and connect with people in your major, maybe upperclassmen. If you have a Discord chat, maybe you know someone that's a year higher than you that has an internship, and get the chance to talk with them about what they did, how they got their internship, what requirements were needed, and try to form relationships with these people because they can help you get in certain companies because you have that relationship with them. So network with them, in your classes, get to know your classmates, your professors. I also suggest going on LinkedIn, and if you have any specific company that you are interested in, click on the company and see if there are any CSUN alumni, and then connect with them and send them a message. It never hurts you, and it can be really helpful.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Going on to LinkedIn, first of all, you're going to need to set up a LinkedIn profile if you don't already have one. There is a tutorial on LinkedIn actually about how to set up a profile. And also on Friday, we have a session at 2 p.m. That is all about creating a LinkedIn profile, as well as learning how to connect with employers on LinkedIn. So those are our suggestions for you today. You can always follow up with us at career.internships@csun.edu, and we will put that in the chat so you know our email address.
And we have another question. It says, I am a senior majoring in consumer affairs, just wondering what internships I can pursue or apply for if I don't have much experience in the professional world.
Again, I would recommend that you would put on your resume, put any kind of projects that you think would apply. If you participated in any service learning, that would work for you as well. And then I think a lot of the advice is very similar that you heard for computer science, but heard for communications. There is one thing that I didn't mention earlier, and that is do some focus on your important for you. We're hearing trends that employers are really focused on looking at your soft skills. And what that means are certain characteristics that you have or have developed, such as communication skills. I'm sure you have excellent communications, oral and written. If you're working in consumer affairs, that's one of the areas that you probably develop some strengths in that area, as well as leadership skills or problem solving skills for consumer affairs. That's very important. One area where you can look for an internship would be with government. That there is in Los Angeles County, there is a Department of Consumer Affairs, and you can see if they have any internships available. And you can also use the LA County Human Resources website. They have a list of internships on there. And you can I will tell you that it's a little bit hard to access. When I say that, it's just the way it's organized. Sometimes it's harder to find what you're looking for, but it's got some very good opportunities listed there. Jessica, do you have anything to add?
I just have another tip as well. If you don't have much professional experience, that's completely fine, because employers know that we're students, so they're not really expecting us to have like a great deal of experience under our belt. But I'm pretty sure that you've participated in group projects, maybe you've had a part-time job, and these are all things that can benefit you, and you just need to frame them in the right way. So if you have time, you can actually drop by the Career Center and we'll help you kind of fix up your resume so that it's tailored to the job or internship that you're looking for. Because, even if you say you don't have much professional experience, we think that you may have soft skills because you're in a major that requires, lots of soft skills. So, keep working on your resume, and the Career Center will be here to help you if you need help. So.
Okay. So do we have any more questions in the chat?
Yes, another one is, as a person who is aiming to be a screenwriter, what type of internship should I apply for? I have looked up certain internships, but I am unsure exactly what to look for.
What's your class level?
Sophomore.
Okay. So as a sophomore, there's a couple of different things that you can do. First, I'm going to start with the Csu Entertainment Alliance. They were here yesterday and they held a session yesterday. You can go to their site and that's being sent out by Jessica. It's putting it on the chat. They have opportunities where you can participate in internships from freshman all the way through your senior year and in graduate school. So freshmen and sophomore typically can't get academic credit for an internship. It's just not part of the curriculum until the junior year, for the most part. However, the CSU Entertainment Alliance can help you connect. I will tell you that there is a fee. For that, it's $200. So I know that can be a lot of money for a student, but as far as any kind of like tuition, it's very small amount of money. But if that's a challenge, there's ways to look at that. And you can connect with them. They can connect. They have a database that has internships on it. My guess is they have some in screenwriting. So that's where you can start. Also, if you connect with a nonprofit or a government setting, you can look for different types of screenwriting positions. But no, typically they offer academic credit only, and that probably is going to be your biggest barrier at this point.
And the CSU Entertainment Alliance, just so you guys know, they also host a series of events. So I believe this week they're inviting people from DreamWorks to come and speak to students. So it's a really great resource for you. If you check their website, they have tips on career, like they will help you also with your resume, with your interview skills. So just explore their website, see the career resources they have, and see the events they have, and check out their internships as well. They did also have a free housing program, I believe, but because of the pandemic, I don't think it's active right now. But maybe in the future, since you're just a sophomore, maybe that's something that you could look into in the future.
I'd also recommend going onto their site to work on your resume. They have a lot of different types of resumes, people seeking positions in different parts of the entertainment business. So I'd recommend using their resources.
Okay, and we have another question. Hello, I'm a junior studying international student who majors in marketing. I am aware that I must attend an internship orientation workshop to gain internship access. Would you mind telling me when it will be held on the nearest date?
I can actually answer that for you. I'm also an international student majoring in marketing, and the internship workshops are offered by the College of Business Career Center, the CEPD, and they have a schedule on their website when they're offering workshops, and it's also available on Handshake. I will go find the link for you, and then I'll send it to you on the chat. But if you're applying for an internship for this semester, the spring 2021 semester, the cutoff for submitting your CPT is already over. So you would have to do an internship during the summer or the fall, and they'll have the dates listed for you on their website. So I'll send that to you right now. Give me a second and I'll send it through the chat.
Okay, I see something coming in on the chat. The question is, when should I get started looking for an internship? So there's this short-term answer and the long-term answer, but the short-term answer is if you're looking for one for summer, start looking now. However, if you are looking for one for spring, really, we're at a point where we've passed application periods for spring internships. So right now you would be looking for summer and for fall. But I will tell you that summer recruitment actually starts in the fall. So you want to work at least 6 months in advance for several reasons. One of the reasons is to just make sure you're fully prepared and that you know what it is that you're seeking. Because when you're just applying for internships that are sort of in the general area that you're looking for, I think you may be, the results will not be as clear. So I would recommend that you apply in advance. That way you can get your resume critiqued and you can update it and make all the changes you need to do and start writing cover letters, because it takes time. If you think about it, you're applying the postings out there, you have to prepare all of those items and then apply for the position. and you have to give then the company time to make decisions, because the company may get 1 or 2 applicants, or they may get more like 100 applicants. So the better prepared you are, the better it is for you. And also you may want to meet with a career counselor to discuss your career path and the direction you want to take. And that will help you shape and make decisions about the internships that you'll be seeking.
Okay, and we have another question. Do I have to get an internship related to my major?
Good question. If your major requires an internship, which most majors do, if we're talking about the College of Computer Science and Engineering, they don't require it. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't have one. I recommend that everybody should participate in internships. But if you, what is your major? Can you tell me that?
It looks like undecided.
Undecided. Okay. So are you a freshman, sophomore?
Sophomore.
Sophomore. Okay. You remember how we mentioned the Csu Entertainment Alliance? That is a place where you can apply. Again, you can apply for internships as a freshman or sophomore if you want to work in the for-profit field in entertainment. So that's one place that you can look for internships. Also, depending on what it is that you want to do, and if you're unclear about that, I recommend again that you see a career counselor, and to try to sort out the direction you want to take, the major that you want to declare. Now you ask if you can do an internship outside of your major. You can, but it's kind of complicated. So if it's a for-profit company that you want to work for and they're willing to pay you, then you don't have an issue of your class level. Okay, you can email career.center@csun.edu and explain that you'd like to meet with a career counselor to start to figure out what your major is. You start by it's about self-exploration. It's about learning about yourself, and then making decisions about where you want to go. That's where I think I would start. Then you can make decisions about testing out different types of internships.
Okay, and we have another one. I've been applying to internships, but I never hear back. What do I do?
Okay. You want me to start, Jessica?
Yeah, sure. It's a good question. Yeah.
Okay, it is a good question because sometimes, we have these databases like Handshake and Indeed.com and Internships.com and Glassdoor, and you see all these amazing internships on there and you apply, but it's almost like you're applying into the abyss.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. So you want to start by really narrowing down your choices. I think that will be a good way to start. And also you can try to follow up with the employers to see what kind of feedback that you can get about your application, or like I said, when you go on a mega site, there could be thousands of people that apply for a single position. So you want to be able to make yourself stand out in a way that makes you a little bit different than the person next to you. So when you're creating your resume and cover letter, in the cover letter, you want to be able to talk about the employer. So make sure you do your research ahead of time and know what the employer is all about. Yesterday, our speaker gave an example of somebody saying they went to an interview, and in the interview, they said they really liked this movie that they produced. And it turned out that that company didn't produce that movie. So, you know, they did not get hired. So the more you can know about the company you're applying for and putting that into your cover letter and related to your interests, the better it is for you. So, and every cover letter, unfortunately, I have to tell you, every cover letter needs to be unique, because it can't just be a template, because employers see that. I was a recruiter for a large entertainment company, and I saw a lot of resumes, and I will tell you that when I saw the same things over and over and over again, I didn't know if that person was being genuine. So you need to make it specific to you and specific to your experiences,
Yes,
and that can help.
and to add to what Jan said, tailoring your resume to the job position makes a really big difference. I know that sometimes it's easy for us to have one resume and we just send it out to all the jobs that we're interested in. But, you know, because of how fast technology is moving, what most companies and employers do is they have an artificial intelligence system, an AI system, that when you submit your resume online, the AI will scan your resume and scan the job description and see if you have the qualifications, see how much skills are in common with what they're looking for. So the biggest tip that we have is really read through the job description and try to think, like, what exactly are these employers looking for, and then tailor your resume to it. You know, it does take a little bit of time and a little bit of effort, but, you know, just those small tweaks can make a big difference in hearing back from the employer. So we know that it's difficult, but you got this, guys. We believe in you. And if you need help tailoring your resume, again, feel free to come to the Career Center, because our peers and our counselors are so happy to help you guys with your resume.
And that's for everybody on board. We have, if you need a resume critique, come to the Career Center. We have peer drop-in hours, and you can find that on our website, as well as meeting if you need to do further exploration, to meet with our career counselors. We're here for you. You know, one other thing that I would recommend is try to connect with the recruiters for different companies that you're interested in. You can do that through LinkedIn. I encourage you to make sure your LinkedIn profile is really up to date. You can take actually LinkedIn Learning and LinkedIn have tutorials on how to create a great profile. But we also have a session at 2:00 on Friday, creating an effective LinkedIn profile, as well as connecting with recruiters. So that might be an ideal session for you.
Okay, and we have another one. Is a cover letter required for internships?
Yeah, I have to say yes. As much as that you're thinking, oh gosh, another cover letter, another cover letter. Yes, it is. I mean, you could submit it without, but remember, depending on how you're submitting your application or your resume, there may be a lot of other people submitting, and so the employers can weed that out. If you're coming to the job fair, which I recommend that all of you sign up to come to our career fair, our spring career fair, on the 9th and the 10th of next week, Tuesday and Wednesday. That's a chance for you to talk to an employer. You have different employers have different sessions that they offer, but the larger sessions can have up to 50 students. And then you can also schedule individual sessions with employers, and those are 10 minutes. So if you're trying to solve your problem about the issue of not being able to connect online, this would be an ideal way for you to connect. You have 10 minutes to basically do some type of pre-interview. Actually, you would be interviewing the employer as well as the employer interviewing you. So this would be a great way for you to make an individual connection with one of the employers that's coming to day 1 and day 2 of our job fair.
Okay, another question. What is the proper structure for a cover letter and how long should it be?
Jessica, you want to answer this one? You want me to?
I can give a little tip after you say your
Okay,
piece, yeah.
so your first tip is to go to Career Link. So Jessica will put the Career Link in the chat. She'll put the URL in the chat so you can get there. Career Link is our career exploration and planning tool. It's online, and we have a whole section on job search, and there's information on how to write a resume. There are sample resumes in there. There's a lot of really good resume information that can help you with that. That's my first tip.
I also want to say that, you know, you typically submit both a resume and a cover letter, and a resume is going to have all your skills and your experience. So your employer will already be able to see that. So your cover letter essentially is a chance for your personality to shine. Obviously, keep it professional and still mention your skills in there and some of your experience, but you also want to showcase who you are. Why are you interested in the company? What makes you a great candidate? These are things that you can't really verbally express in your resume, but you can talk about it in your cover letter. Let's say that you're applying for an internship to in NASA, and then you can tell them in your cover letter that you've been following them for years. It's the reason why you got into engineering. You're very passionate about what they do for the community, for the environment. So it's a great idea to add a personal touch to it. And then CareerLink will also have the resources on how to structure it. The difficult part about cover letters, like Jan said earlier, is you really have to tailor each cover letter to each internship you apply for. And sometimes that can be a little bit time consuming because you're interested in different companies for different reasons. And it'll take you time to kind of write it out. But you know, the sooner you have one start, like you can write a general one and then you can just change bits and pieces of it to tailor it to the company that you're interested in or that you're applying for. So that's my little tip.
The same goes for resume writing. You can write, I'm a firm believer in writing a giant resume that has everything that you can think of putting in there. And then when it's time, let's say you just find out about a job or an internship and you need to apply and you only have a short period of time to do that, then you can just pull the things that are essential for that job. And then you won't have to write the whole thing over and over again. And so that's what Jessica's referring to in your cover letter. You can do the same thing with your resume.
And for your resume and your cover letter, each should be at most a page. So we are in college, you're all students here. We don't have much experience yet. So the recommended length is a page for a resume and a page for the cover letter.
Do remember that we have some other sessions coming up. Today, actually, if you are planning on or thinking about going to the job fair, we have a session right after this at 3 p.m. and it's called Navigating a Virtual Career Fair in Handshake. And I think it'll really help you understand the process. It's a really short session. I believe Sarah makes it only 15 minutes. So there's several sessions that she'll do back to back, but it starts at 3 o'clock. And I think that might be useful for you, as well as tomorrow, we have an event called Resume Makeover, and you can have your resume critiqued. I will tell you, we have a lot of people that have signed up for this event. So we're going to do our best to take care of everybody. but that is an opportunity for you to sign up for Resume Makeover tomorrow, which is from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Okay, do we have any new questions coming up?
Another question, is Indeed recommended to look for internships?
Sure. It's one of, we start with Handshake. And the reason why we start with Handshake is because the employers are seeking CSUN students specifically. So are they seeking other students across the nation? Yes, sometimes. But they are definitely looking for CSUN students. So it starts the filtering down. So you don't have as many people applying for the same spot. But then, of course, I'd use any other, if you're computer science and computer engineering, I'd use dice.com, like throwing the dice. That's something that might work for you. If you're applying for, depending on the different types of internships you're looking for, there are certain kinds of sites, aggregate sites, like idealist.org is a site for nonprofits where they post their internships and jobs. But yes, Glassdoor, Indeed, all of those. But do remember when you're looking, even on our site, make sure what you're looking at, do your research and your homework on the organization, because other sites may not scan their and evaluate their internships. And so you want to make sure you protect yourself. There is fraud out there, and on occasion we have fraud on our site. It's sometimes things slip through, they look perfect. We do the research, the website's there, we find that they have a location, you know, that is local or whatnot, and it slips through our cracks. But other sites, I'm not sure if they all do their due diligence in that area. So just to protect yourself, I would recommend that.
Okay, and as a graduating senior with no internship experience, would I still be qualified to do an internship after I graduate?
Good question. It depends. Most internships and most companies are looking for people that are in school. There are different reasons why they might do that. One reason is that they're looking maybe to hire you after you graduate. Another reason could be that they're looking to offer you academic credit rather than paying you. And that is the case with some of our internships. What I would recommend to you is I would recommend if you, once you graduate, to enroll in a community college, and you can either use their database, or if you want to stay on Handshake, you can stay on Handshake to research internships. But there is an internship class at different community colleges that you can enroll in, and that way it makes it easier for you to find an internship, because you can get academic credit for that. And the cost is much less than going to CSUN. It's free to some, and it's, I think, $36 a unit, or I don't know. I haven't looked recently, but it's you're not paying that much money to get that internship.
Okay, another question. Do internships work around our class schedule, or should I take a semester off when working as an intern?
Jessica, you want to answer this one?
Yes, so most internships will definitely work around your class schedule. That's the great thing about internships, is that first and foremost, it's a learning experience for students. So when employers hire interns, they know that they're hiring students. It's not going to be like, your part-time job or your retail job where they force you to take shifts or that they force you to sign up for shifts that you are unavailable. They know that you go to school. They know that you have other responsibilities. So most of the time, they're very flexible with schedule. But I will say, when you're applying for the internship, they will give you, it'll usually say the time commitment, like how many months the internship's going to be and how many hours you're going to work. So just know beforehand that while they're flexible, they also expect something from you. So if you can commit to the 20 hours a week, then you should be able to, if you say that you can commit to the 20 hours a week, you should be able to do it. So you owe that to the employers and the companies, and it's just best practice.
Yeah. So they are flexible, but they're flexible to a point. I know that I work with students, have student assistants in the office. Sometimes those student assistants will work just 2 hours at a time. It's not as likely that you will find that in an employer. They may want you to work 4 or 5 hours for a shift, either a morning or an afternoon, but they're not as likely to just offer you 2 hours. There are some, and it depends on how many hours will work per week. So if you're working 20 hours a week, it's hard to do less than 4 or 5 hours. If you're working 10 hours a week, you might be able to have a shift of 3 hours, 3 hours, and 4 hours. So, 3 days a week. It's really up to the employer to determine, but yes, they do know you're a student.
Next question, if we never actually land an internship, is our career compromised?
I would say, no. We, of course, employers do see internships like your first entry-level job. They kind of, because they're looking at evaluating, when they're choosing somebody, they're more likely to choose somebody that's had internship experience, but it doesn't mean that you won't ever find a job. I would say I would recommend that you get some experience, because there are places that will, I think it's possible to find internships. It may not be your dream internship. So many nonprofit organizations look to hire interns because they really do need the support and help. Also, the LA County, like I said, has an internship program where there are many internships listed there, and you can apply through LA County. So you can apply through government and nonprofit settings, and there's more. You may have better luck finding an internship. Also, the other thing you can do is create your own. So you can always talk to, if you have a passion for something, maybe it's for, you want to work against climate change. If that's your passion, you can find nonprofits that are doing that work, and you could propose doing an internship for them. Remember, you're not just a volunteer, because internships need to have intentional learning goals. There really has to be a reason why you're doing this. And so you're not sitting and stuffing envelopes all day long. It doesn't mean that if you're working for a nonprofit that you won't be stuffing envelopes. That may be a little part of your job, because you may be sitting with the executive director of that nonprofit, and they're stuffing envelopes too. So do know that you need to be flexible and adaptable, but I think it's possible. And you can always, again, check in. If you're having some challenges, you can always connect with our peer educators and our career counselors to help you with that.
And just to add to what Jan said, so the CSUN Career Center and CSUN in general offers a wide variety of resources for you. And I suggest to take advantage of it. For example, we have a job fair coming up on, I believe, March 9 and 10. And it'll be a good chance for you to talk with recruiters and explore like different internships, different job opportunities. So there are lots of job fairs on campus that the Career Center hosts. You can also look at workshops. There are many workshops that different clubs and organizations will host. CSUN alumni, they also try to connect you with CSUN alumni that have experience, and they'll serve as your mentor, and maybe they'll help you land an internship. So if you take the time to explore, what CSUN has to offer, then you may be able to find something. But just to answer your question, your career isn't compromised if you can't find an internship. But we do recommend, if you can, definitely try your best to get one.
Okay, so I would like to, Anna, if we could do the post test and do this question number 3, if you will post that on the poll. What is your level of knowledge about internships after today's session? Okay. All right. So we'll end the polling. Thank you. And then let's go to the other question. The next question. What is your level of knowledge about internship information through the CSUN Career Center after today's session? Okay, thank you. Okay, so really what we would like to do is say thank you for coming today. We really appreciate all your questions, and if you have more questions and if we haven't answered everything, we do have a session on Friday called Internship Roadmap from start to finish, and that's at 12:30 p.m. So you're welcome to come to that event. But just to let you know about what else is happening this week, or even today, again, navigating a virtual fair in Handshake at 3 o'clock. And at 5 o'clock, it's Pledge LA Venture Capital Internship. So you can sign up for those for today. And then tomorrow, I mentioned Resume Makeover, and a great program is the HACU, or Hispanic Association of Colleges and Universities. That program, National Internship Program, is open to all students, and they will be doing an event tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. So we look forward to seeing you at our other events. Check out social media. We will have it posted on there as well as our website.